Now, as you will see, this front hall closet is not all that big, but also it's never going to have empty shelves in it, okay? It's not like my closet upstairs, my wardrobe. The goal here was not to like totally clear this out. The goal was just to make everything a little bit easier to access, just get rid of a little bit that was making it hard to hang things and get them on and off, and that's what we've done. Hi, I'm Melanie. Welcome back to Thriving Life. I thought I would just take a few minutes here to give you a recap on some of the work that we did this morning. We didn't film what we did this morning. Our dryer is broken, so we had someone taking a look at it in there, so we had to hang around, but we didn't really want to film or do anything like that. So while we were there, we took turns sitting on a chair, and pulling stuff out of the closet, not too much at one time, just one thing at a time or two things at a time. And we ended up with a good amount of stuff to donate. Right? So if you have energy challenges like we do, you don't want to tackle too much. It's never a good idea for us to like pull every single thing out of the closet and then have a big overwhelming mess to deal with. And then, we were running back and forth for the person who was looking at the dryer and like if they needed anything. And so that would have just probably ended up being a big overwhelming mess on our table for days. So instead, we just sat down, we took out like one box or one bin or like I said, a couple of things at a time to try them on or things like that and see what we could do. And by doing that, we got a good amount of stuff done. So that's how I would recommend just sort of taking it slow, especially if you're trying to pace your energy. And in doing that, and while the person was here looking at the dryer, we ended up going through, I would say, half the closet. There were still some sections and categories that we didn't get to yet, but that's okay. We made progress, and so that's a good thing. Okay, so to start off, we had gloves, like these ones were a little bit too worn. I had these earmuffs. I like to wear earmuffs a lot, because they're kind of easy on the hair. Not that my hair is done today or anything. I just threw it in a ponytail because it's one of those chill days at home. I just ended up tidying the closet. But if I'm going to work or something, I like earmuffs because they're not as likely as hats to kind of like ruin what you got going on with the hair. Earmuffs and then a hood often is what I do in the winter. So these ones are from back in the day. They have a cord to plug into an iPod. So that was cool for what it was, but I was thinking they're not like my frequent pick. I don't use them all the time because if I'm not listening to something, the cord is built in. It does not come out. And so then what do you do with it? It just kind of hangs in the way and gets in the way if I don't want to be listening to something. Number two, if it's cold enough that I'm going to need the earmuffs with the built-in cord for the iPod, it's probably too cold for my iPod to work. That's just the kind of reality of my life and where I live. So I have lots of other earmuffs in the closet, so these ones are going. I have two jackets, spring jackets. We decided to be a season ahead so that if they go to the donation place, then somebody can actually get a jacket for the appropriate season. Plus, we already know all the winter jackets that fit because we have been wearing them. It is the middle of winter. It was like minus 17 here yesterday, so we're good on the winter jackets for this season. So these two spring jackets that don't fit anymore, well, what can you do? They're very nice. I liked them. I wore them a lot. I've had them for probably 8 years. Now they don't really fit the best anymore. That's okay. I have other ones. Scarves. I thought I would just take you through if this can help with a little bit of the decision making. Feel free to have your own opinions on any of these. Maybe you would have done it differently. Just also know that by the time you see this, it is long gone to the donation place. So really your opinions don't matter. Sorry, but it's true. Anyway, I would just take you through the decision making process because maybe that can help you if you want to think about spring cleaning coming up. That's the kind of a thing that we all do, spring cleaning, spring decluttering. So as you can see, I'm just taking it in small chunks. So by the time we get through the spring, hopefully I will have tackled a lot of these different areas, but I will just rotate around my house and not do all of it at one time. I have these two scarves. So this one, hopefully you can see you can see the difference. Okay. So this one is like a brown, dusty blue, a little bit of dusty sort of green color and cream combination. This one is like a little bit of an olive green, turquoise, royal blue combination. So I think you can even see from there that this one is not as bright as this one. Remember that my style words were that I want everything to be colorful and comfortable and make me feel my most confident. So these are both the same level of comfort, but this one is more colorful. I decided that it makes more sense to keep, and I really wouldn't choose this one over this one when I go to the closet. I would always be more attracted to wearing this color, especially with my dark jackets. Like I have a brown jacket, a black jacket. My winter coats can be fairly dark and neutral, so a little bit more color to brighten up near the face just works a little bit better. Second one. Now these are both bright turquoise, so I mean this is a bit of a harder one, but this one has black and gray in it, so I think it looks just that much better with my black winter coat. And this one also has very nice turquoise. It was like, it's a little bit hard to choose. But in the end, the black and gray just seemed like it would go a little bit better with the coats. And this one with all the white, I don't know, the white just makes it seem a little bit younger to me and just maybe not as practical for winter. Like I say, you can have your own opinion on that, but I decided that that one somebody else can enjoy more than me, because I would probably pick this one to go with a black or gray coat. This one, you can see I like color, so I can't get all the way there just by saying, is it colorful? Yes, both of these are colorful. This one is very bright. I mean, you can see it kind of even goes with what I'm wearing today. Like, I really like it. But when I look at all my coats in the closet, this one just seems a little bit more sophisticated to me. This just seems a little bit more like what I would wear now and going into the future. This one, again, strikes me as a little bit young. I've had it a very long time. So it just feels something to me a little bit more like a younger woman than I maybe would wear. This one just seems a little bit more sophisticated in the coloring, seems to have more longevity, and it's got this nice little bit of brown color that goes with a brown winter coat that I have. So again, I don't really tend to choose this one over this one in the closet. So this one can go and this one can stay. So you'll notice I don't have any comparison for this one. There is nothing else like it in the closet, but that was the problem. There is nothing else like it in the closet. In and of itself, I love the color combination. I love the scarf. It's very fresh, it's very unique, it's very bright, but I don't have any coats with yellow or any coats with orange or any coats with green. I mean, I did have an orange trench coat probably about 15 years ago that I loved, but that was a long time ago. It doesn't fit anymore. It is long, 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 long gone from my closet, but I still have the scarf. I just thought that orange trench coat looked so awesome. I thought I looked so awesome wearing it. The scarf reminds me of that, but I don't think I have anything like it now. And I think even if I found it, I don't know that it would suit me, and again, my age and stage and lifestyle. This is one of those things that if it can go to someone who's gonna maybe love it and wear it every day, like they're gonna have like that orange trench coat or like a yellow raincoat or something that they're gonna be like, this is the best. That's not the reaction that I have to it in my closet anymore, even though it is very pretty. So it can go and hopefully find that person who's gonna love it way more than me. Okay, so the audio really didn't work in this section. Maybe you noticed it starting to go out of sync in the last section. Apologies for that. So here I'm just talking about the gloves, talking about how you need different gloves for different situations. You get it, right? You need more than one pair of gloves, because if you wear one to work or one outside to shovel and one gets wet, they have different functionality. That's what I'm explaining here with the gloves. Now I'm talking about the single gloves, the lost gloves. I went through the entire bin of gloves, and somehow there was still half a dozen pairs that didn't seem to have matches. I always wear 2 gloves. I always wash 2 gloves. So it's a mystery how you end up with just a bunch of single gloves. But it's kind of like socks in the dryer. That's just one of the mysteries of the universe. Anyway, the whole point here is that gloves are not one of the things that we're really trying to cut down to like one or like one and a spare.
You just always seem to need lots of pairs of gloves. If you have extra people around and they didn't bring gloves, if my nephew needs gloves, 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 gloves. Very handy in the winters in Canada. So I'm just making the point that we're really only getting rid of gloves that seem too worn out, or if we can't find a match, because then they're not functional because I have 2 hands and I need 2 gloves to take them out in the winter. Okay, so let's move on.
Okay, this scarf. Let me just show you, right? I have this scarf, same material, same style, with more colors on it, and including a bit of brown, the pinky brown here, which this one doesn't have the pink, this kind of purpley pink. But it's got this bit of brown here, so it does go with a brown jacket, but it's also got the blacks and grays, so it goes with the black or gray. It's got more color going on than this one. And actually I have another one of this one. It was just more purple, I think. More purple and more black. So anyway, just don't need all of them.
Now I'm back to the scarves. So I was showing here how I have these 2 solid scarves. They're both soft and comfortable. They are both colorful, but compared to the orangey red one, I would always choose the hot pink. So if I would never choose the orangey red one, it doesn't need to stay in my closet. Right? Same thing that I've been showing you with all the other scarves. Oh, and then I decided to show you the comparison of this more deeper crimson scarf with the floral pattern. You can't tell from the video, but it has sparkle on it. I think you get it by now. I don't want to seem like a crazy scarf person. I had a lot of scarves. I still have a lot of scarves, but I am cutting them down using these methods. I'm making the effort.
The reason this whole thing got kicked off was because I was having so much trouble hanging up my winter coat. Every time I would try and hang up my winter coat, it or something else would fall off the hanger, would fall in the way. It was hard to open and close the closet. It was just getting too hard. And when that kind of thing starts happening, it drains a lot of your energy. I can't afford for my energy to be drained before I even go outside in the cold, or before I come back in and can even do anything like put away groceries or things like that. So anyway, so I just thought I would just look at a couple of things. Like I would see like a couple of maybe spring jackets that they didn't fit or something, that if I could just make that a tiny bit better, or even just neaten up the scarves. But then it ended up being easier than I thought to end up getting the stuff ready for donate, including this bin. This bin is ripped, it's got holes in it, and because of all this stuff that I'm just donating the whole bin. Because of all the stuff in it that I'm going to donate, I don't need the 3 bins in the closet anymore. I've gone down to 2, and I'll show you that in a moment. The last thing before I turn you around and we go over there is this actual scarf hanger thing. I put a couple scarves in it to try and show you. So this thing holds 28 scarves if it's all full, which is too many. It's too many if it was full. It's too many when it's not full. So if they were all to be full, I mean, I've kind of tried to just show you with just a few scarves here, but we'll just add a few more. I think you can kind of start to see what the problem would be. If you have this all full of scarves, they're just all getting tangled and messy. If you have this whole thing hanging in the closet, and again, let me just do it. I think you can see if it was all full, it would be a lot harder to get at these ones in the back than it would be to get at these ones in the front. And if it was all full, you'd have to get it back in exactly the same place. Like find the one empty hole when this was all full, right? Like just imagine. Now, that's not to say, like, obviously didn't think of all that when we bought it and when it was hanging in the closet. We thought this was going to be a solution. We thought this was going to make it better. It did not make it better. It made it a tangled mess in there, okay? The point is, this did not work as desired. I mean, you know, we've had it for a long time. I feel like we tried to make it work. But at the end, it doesn't work. I don't want it to work. I don't want it to be all full of that many scarves. I think that's too many scarves. So that is getting donated as well. And now I will show you what the closet is actually looking like after all of this. So just to go through a few things here. So up on the top shelf, we have lunch kits. You know, if you're going to take your own lunch to work every day, you just need something to put it in. So I have a few different ones of those. Other members of my family have a couple. So Maybe it still seems excessive to you to have more than one, but I wasn't really, decluttering any of those today. Another thing which I was able to take off the top rack and make room for the lunch kits from over on this side was this sewing batting. Does not belong there. Don't really know why it was there, except it probably got shoved there at some time. Anyway, I'm going to put it with the rest of the sewing stuff. And as you can see, that was a relatively bulky package, so that's what also helped make some room on the top bar so that things can sit more nicely and not be falling on you when you try and hang things up. Always a good thing. We live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, home of the supposedly world famous Calgary Stampede. Tell me out there if that's true, if any of you have ever heard of it, if you don't live in Calgary. But anyway, they tell us it's the greatest outdoor show on earth. That means for a couple of weeks in the summer, these sort of Western style hats are practically mandatory wearing. You need a hat like that. A couple of sun hats for gardening, not decluttering those. That is the space where that third bin used to be, and I decluttered that, and so now, because also when that was there, the hats and the things, these lunch kits did not fit there. They were down the bottom and they would get tangled sometimes in the doors because these are folding doors. So now they can go up on the top shelf. The hats can sit nicer. Sometimes the hats would fall down on you if you opened the door the wrong way. Now they're not going to do that, hopefully. And then this is the other scarf hair. So you can see this is quite similar to the other one, except it's smaller. It's got way less spaces. I mean, I don't know how many spaces it has, but I'm going to say probably less than half of the other one. And it's a little bit more weighted too, like the other one was a little bit unstructured. So this has more structure. I'm still not going to overload it with scarves, but these are some of the other kind of silky scarves of this type that made the cut, and there's room for it in the closet. Couldn't do that before. Okay. So then those two things go in there. I took out the two jackets that didn't fit, right? So you can kind of see how this is working. Just to take a look down at the bottom here. So this is part of the, I did not tackle any shoes or boots today, right? It is boot season, so I know the boots that fit and work, just like I know the winter coats that fit and work. I probably have to go through shoes, before summertime, like more in the spring. But again, it was -17 yesterday, so that's not something that needs to be done today. For right now, if I can get the doors open and shut and they fit on the rack, I'm happy. They do. So that's a problem for another day, right? Don't overdo it. But by the same token, if it's going really well and you're feeling really motivated, just like today, I said I wanted to just go through a couple of jackets and see, am I sure that these fit before spring? And I ended up being able to get rid of a whole bin and go through scarves and things like that. My energy cooperated, so I was able to do that. If you don't find that, don't tackle things that are not an emergency today, okay? That's my advice. Leave well enough alone if you don't have the energy to get to it. I realized that this got so involved that we probably have to split it up into 2 videos. That's part of the point, that we want to be so specific that you can kind of model asking yourselves these questions and maybe doing this with some of your own stuff if you feel inspired to simplify. But that means that you will see the rest another time, including maybe our scarf origin story, so we don't come off like crazy scarf people, and talking a little bit more about some of the simplifying stuff. So thank you for watching, and if this video wasn't to your taste, well, we hope you like the next one. But if I post the 2 parts back to back, then that's not very likely. So I hope you like the next one after that. We had a good response to our previous closet decluttering, simplifying videos. I mean, I think that's because it's useful to see someone else go through the process and the decision making. I could be totally wrong. It could just be because you like taking a peek at someone else's messy closet to feel better about your own. You can let me know in the comments which one of those is true, or if it's something else entirely. I don't know what you can see. Okay, I do not recommend trying to declutter other people's stuff. It does not work. It's not a good idea for the relationship, okay? That's another leave well enough alone type thing. You can see all this side, oops, all of that. I was it, don't push people to get rid of their stuff, because that just kind of makes people hold on tighter and be like, mine, it's my stuff, it's mine. It's not gonna, and the summer, like baseball type caps, baseball cap type hats. No, summer sun hats that aren't like the big bulky ones like that. Anyway, what was I even saying about that? We had to think, I will show you in a moment, but we had to go less. This is just way too much. It's too much. It's too much. Did I even show you this one? I don't even know if I showed you this scarf. Yes, they're a little bit broken. That's not my fault, but they open and close. Open and close. That's what I wanted for today.